October 13th, 2022. Gorgeous autumn day. I just walked up here from Union Square. It's about 28 blocks. Oh, yeah, 28 blocks. I'm going to take a ride out to a very popular railfan location on Metro North. Highly recommended. The village of Mamaroneck in Westchester County. Take a Stanford local up there. Mamaroneck is right next to Paparoneck. And Mamaroneck is highly sought after by fans. It's on high-speed track, 4-track main, very heavy traffic density, and it's got a nice restaurant in the station building there. So go out and recreate. No matter where you stand, on the ground, on a balcony like this, Grand Central Terminal, not Grand Central Station, Grand Central Terminal is grand. And the headquarters of Metro North Commuter Railroad. It's got helpful information booth clerks down there. Ticket agents here at Metro North are very helpful. And I'm going to take a ride out to Mamaroneck and Railfan Metro North and Amtrak. Now there are some people out there that think that I don't railfan Metro North enough, that I don't pay it any mind, and that's absolute balderdash. Fictitious bunk. They seem to think that the Long Island Railroad, for me, is the center of the universe. I mean, that's just total fictitious gobbledygook. In fact, I looked through all my YouTube files recently, over the last several years, and I took out a calculator, a slide rule, every possible calculating device you can think of to see exactly what I did, and only 95% of my videos are Long Island Railroad oriented, not 100%. I have some SEPTA in there, Amtrak, Metro North, New Jersey Transit, even some Metra in there. So anyone who says that I just totally dominate my site with Long Island Railroad is just, they're on drugs. That's all I can say. Okay, we're riding out to Mamaroneck and we're coming into New Rochelle, and we should be shortly passing train 1367, Stanford to New York, which is piloted by the Ghost Engineer. He's coming into New Rochelle now, and we're coming in the opposite direction. Thumping through shell interlocking.
New Rochelle. To leave the train, please watch the gap between the train and the platform.
There he is, he's in the station, coming into the station. We'll see him. There he is. Time is 3:50, just got off train 1340 at Mamaroneck, riding in from Grand Central. I'll stay here for the PM rush, since see an awful lot of action. I'll be here about 4 hours and 45 minutes. This station provides great views. It's straight track in both directions, got plenty of advance notice of approaching trains, and they move pretty fast through here. Tracks are numbered from left to right, 4213. Oh, here comes 1369 from Stanford to Grand Central at 3:55. The predominant equipment you'll see on Metro North are the Kawasaki M8 cars. You'll note this had an odd numbered consist. Metro North has M8 trailers, non-powered. It creates that oddball consist. Well, a woman was running like hell to catch the train. I did my good deed for the day, motioned to the conductor to hold on. Off he goes, next stop, Larchmont. 402, this should be a deadhead from Stamford to Grand Central. There's nothing scheduled. Well, next up at 404 is train 1540 from Grand Central to New Haven. Next stop is Stamford. It's going to be a monotony of M8s. What will break up the monotony of the Amtrak trains and the P32 powered Danbury trains. Speed limit through here is 80. I think it used to be 90. Now next up on 2 at 409 is train 1740. It's a New York New Canaan train. He passed up 1342 on the way here. He should be coming in shortly. New Canaan trains are generally very short, as this one is. Passed up 1342, I think, around New Rochelle. He should be coming shortly. That westbound was 1571 from New Haven to Grand Central. I'm pretty much going to concentrate on the eastbound trains and, of course, the Amtrak trains. Well, here comes 1342 for Stamford, arriving at 414. These cars are very diversified. They can run on AC voltages, DC voltage. Supposedly they can run on overrunning and underrunning third rail. The only thing they won't be able to do is run on the AC voltage into Penn Station. Some kind of electrical inhibition in it. Those cars perform very well in AC mode, quick acceleration. Not so good in DC mode, however. They actually have M8s running without third rail shoes on the Shoreline East trains to Old Saybrook and New London. Well, next up on this pleasant afternoon at 420 is an equipment move with push-pull equipment out of Stamford for Grand Central. You see those around sometimes. He was most likely equipment off of a Danbury train that runs between Danbury and Norwalk. Here comes Amtrak 2167, Boston to Washington. He's heading west on track 2. See a slew of Amtrak trains during my visit. Approaching at 431 is train 1542, Grand Central to New Haven. Should have a westbound equipment train passing too. they move pretty fast through here. Now, eastbounds will use 3 tracks tonight. 1, 2, and 4. Well, 436, this is train 1244. He only goes as far as Harrison. It's the next stop. I'll demonstrate where the trailer is on this car, because this has 7 cars. Whenever you have an odd-numbered consist, there's usually 1 trailer on board. It's the 3rd car on this train. You'll notice that 3rd car had no cabs on either end. Gotta be alert here, that was a New Haven Grand Central train. Approaching is train 1442 from Grand Central to South Norwalk, Connecticut. Soon after should be 1544 for New Haven, and then a real hot shot, 3542 for New Haven. That train only makes Stamford, Bridgeport, and New Haven after 125. Correction, 3542 doesn't stop at 125. That's a real limited. Well, approaching now at 445 is the hottest of hots, 3542. Out of Grand Central, it stops only at Stamford, Bridgeport, and New Haven. Well, next up at 451 is train 1544. It's a New York to New Haven local, but it doesn't stop here. Here comes a New Haven Grand Central Express at 453. Well, here comes train 1573 at 454, a local, Stamford to Grand Central. We'll watch them head west over Mamaroneck Avenue. We're just north of the business district. Approaching westbound at 503 is an anomaly that didn't exist back in Penn Central days or New Haven days. This is a new Canaan to Grand Central train. It doesn't stop here. Years ago, they only ran rush hours only, 2 in each direction. 2 going up in the evening and 2 coming down in the morning. Now you have trains going in the opposite direction in some of these hours. A New York-bound New Canaan to Grand Central train back in New Haven and Penn Central days would not have occurred this time of day. Well, here comes 1346, a local, New York to Stamford. He should be overtaken by 1546 from New York to New Haven. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Well, 508, here comes 2169, Amtrak 2169, the Acela, Boston to Washington. You don't see triple-digit speeds on those things up here. Well, approaching at 5:14, he's over an hour and 10 minutes late as Amtrak 176. He came all the way from Roanoke, Virginia, headed for Boston. Undoubtedly, he was delayed south of D.C. He's on 4, so he should be honking his horn for the platform. Approaching at 5:14 is train 1548. This is a pretty fast train. Makes Bridgeport the first stop out of 125 and then all stops to New Haven. Okay, 5:19, this is train 1750 from Grand Central to New Canaan. He doesn't stop here. Other than rush hours, the New Canaan service is provided by the Dink from Stamford to New Canaan. All right, at 5:20, coming east on 1 is another one of those Metro North firecracker trains, 3546. Out of Grand Central, he stops only at Stamford, Bridgeport, and New Haven. When I think of all the limiteds that used to pass through this place years ago on the New Haven. Washboards, Osgood Bradley MUs, FL9s, EP5s. Yeah, it's getting cloudy, getting a little cooler. Yeah, when the sun goes behind the clouds and when the sun sets in October, it gets chilly awfully quick. Now we switched over to track 4 since the sun angle isn't quite so severe anymore. This is Metro North 1552, New York to New Haven, running a little late. Makes Stamford, Fairfield, and all stops to New Haven. Running east on 1. Comes 1848 from New York to Danbury with appropriate New Haven heritage locomotive. That look right at home up here. Here comes Amtrak 137 from Boston to Washington. Track. cars. That's one of the longer regional trains you'll see. This might be 1554 at 5:40. Yep. Approaching at 5:44 is train 1752, Grand Central to New Canaan, Connecticut. Typically short train. At a westbound at 5:48. This is a short train. Approaching is Amtrak 184, Washington to Boston. Should have 94, not too far behind, from Norfolk to Boston. Sure what this train is at 5:55. That was 1556, New York to New Haven. And a nice twilight sky. This could be 1456, bound for South Norwalk. Let's see what the destination sign says. That was it. Got a lot of fast trains here. Here's one of those oddball wrong direction New Canaan trains. I say that in comparison to Penn Central and New Haven days. Westbound 1777, New Canaan to Grand Central. Never would have seen this at this time of day going in this direction back in the old days. Short train. All the platforms on the branch are short. Eastbound at 6:04. He's going to South Norwalk. It's 14:58. No, he was going to Bridgeport. Bridgeport train was 14:56. He'll tie up at East Bridgeport Yard when he's finished with his run, no doubt. Nice twilight, nice sunset. This should be 14:58 for South Norwalk at 6:10. New Haven bound. It was actually train 1560 for New Haven. Well, this train coming in at 6:12 is 1260 bound for Harrison. He'll be stopping here. 1562 for New Haven, perhaps? Exactly. Again, for eastbounds at this hour of the night, they're using 4, 2, and 1. Well, here comes Amtrak 94 from Norfolk, Virginia to Boston at 6:17. No missing those LED lights as the sun sets. Here, eastbound at 6:19. Danbury bound train. That was 1860 bound for Danbury. One of several locomotive-powered rush hour trains to Danbury. In the background, you can see the Mamaroneck train station. It's the second oldest train depot on the New Haven line. It was built in 1888. It's currently a restaurant. In 1920, the station was moved from alongside this New Haven track to that location to accommodate the New York, Westchester, and Boston Railroad, which had their own station between here and there. That operation closed in 1937. Well, coming east at 6:25 should be 1464 bound for South Norwalk. Coming east on number 1 track. Yeah, baby, this is a busy railroad. All right, coming at 6:33 should be Amtrak 2170, the Acela from Washington to Boston. At 6:37, we should have 4 eastbound Metro North Expresses in a row. This should be 1568 for New Haven. Next up should be 1770 from Grand Central to New Canaan. And if the engineer blows his horn like a crazy person, that's Ghost Engineer. Okay, 6:42, here he comes. Train 1770, New York to New Canaan. He'll be flying through here on number 1 track. Here he goes. Well, I hope he's happy that I'm rail fanning Metro North. Seems like he's never satisfied, though. That was 1470 for Bridgeport. We'll wait for one more train before I go to dinner. 1868 for Danbury. 6:50, we have 2 eastbounds coming at us. One of them is an MU. Hopefully the other one that's on 4 is the Danbury job. Still haven't seen 55 and 175 on Amtrak. That was a Stamford bound eastbound. Well, here comes the Danbury job on 4. Time for dinner, thank God. Well, I'll hold off on dinner just a little while longer to catch Amtrak 55, the Vermonter. St. Albans, Vermont to Washington, D.C. He's running very late tonight. And we got a westbound express here. Guy's out of New Haven. Okay, 6:56. Here comes Amtrak 55, the Vermonter. St. Albans, Vermont to Washington, D.C. And then I shall go to dinner. He's got his ditch lights off. Now we're walking in the tunnel under the tracks here at Mamaroneck, going from the eastbound to the westbound. Go straight ahead, it takes you to the restaurant. Now when you pass this stairway here, this area here, between here and that doorway, that's where the stairways led to the platforms of the New York, Westchester, and Boston. That is long gone. And I'm not sure if I can go in this way, but this is where those New York, Westchester, and Boston stairways were. Well, here's the Grand Train Depot here at Mamaroneck. That's now the restaurant. I think they changed ownership recently. This tells the story. All right, you're on train 1392, Stamford. Leave at 10:09. Had a nice trip in, on time.
Yeah, right.
Oh well. You'll be on time into Stamford though.
We will be. Going home rules are in effect on this train.
Oh, well you put on a good hot dog show at Mamaroneck.
I tried.
Yeah.
I'm sure the people in Mamaroneck appreciated it too.
Oh yeah. No K5 LLA, that was the only thing I didn't like.
Yeah. Listen. Can't make everybody happy.
No, we try. We'll see if you can make it on Saturday. Try.
We'll see. I might have my princess with me. She
Yeah,
might
why
go
not?
for a ride.
I met Sylvia already. Adios.
To infinity.
Yes.
God.
that engineer's married to this equipment. He had it going from Grand Central to New Canaan, back to Stamford, back to Grand Central, and back to Stamford again. Well, time to walk to Penn Station.